Good morning, everybody. Can you hear me okay? Super, thank you. Then I will begin. Thank you, Paul. Good morning, everybody. My name is Spencer Young. I'm the Regional Vice President of EMEA at Imperva. I have never presented as an avatar before, and I have to say, having been doing this for 30 years, I probably should have spent more time in the wardrobe section of the 3D world. But I do definitely need to know where I can buy a real pair of the Union Jack shoes that, if you can see my avatar by the side of the 3D stage, I'm wearing. I really appreciate everyone taking the time to join this presentation today. I'm sure everyone's going to have a very informative and very thought-provoking couple of days thanks to Softprom's very innovative virtual event. I have to say they've done an amazing job at setting this all up, and they're really leading the way in how we communicate and engage during these very different times. So I'd like to thank all at Softprom for giving me and for giving Imperva the opportunity to speak with you this morning. So for the next sort of 15 minutes or so, I'm going to talk a little bit about Imperva, but I'm really going to be focusing on the specific business issues we solve for our customers and our partners, and how we uniquely help them to secure their data and their applications. So just move this on. For the last 18 months or so, I keep seeing presentations where people talk about data is the new oil. Well, actually, in reality, it is far more valuable than that. If you're in a business that relies on data for competitive advantage, to service your customers, secure new ones, keep employees safe, and attract and retain talent, to manage your whole supply chain, your finances, your payroll, or make life and death healthcare decisions, data is much, much more valuable than oil. In fact, it really is a currency that, for so many of our customers, is the critical element that runs their businesses. And when you think about what bad actors and hackers are actually after, they want access to data. It's how they monetize their theft and their business disruption activities. And over the last few years, what we've seen at Imperva has been that application and data security have become much more intertwined. We certainly see that when I look at our customers who have initially invested in data security, for example, with us, and then they've added application security later on. And a large driver for that is that so many companies continue to move workloads and sensitive information into the cloud. They're also under continued increasing pressure to meet regulatory requirements for audit, compliance, and they're also expected to deploy applications faster into production. And there's a lot of vendor fragmentation that hasn't helped either. We've, through our own surveys, realized that it takes on average about 72 days to remediate a data breach, which in the world of GDPR, for example, is simply not good enough. We need to be able to find these things much faster. And perhaps the most interesting statistic that I've seen recently is that application and API abuse is now really becoming the primary vector for data access, with 1.3 billion breached records in 2019. Now, if we think a little bit about the paths to the data that people are looking to take, this is a very normal, information security teams manage, data flow risk models like this all the time. If you look inside your organization, you're managing the network, the business logic, which is obviously in the form of applications, APIs, microservices, and of course the data. Now, I'm not going to go deep on each of these threats or entities, but it is interesting to see newer types of issues, such as if you're managing with microservices, east-west risk, or very unique kinds of lateral movement that we see with privileged access by insiders, and even sophisticated bad bots at the edge. And at each end, you'll see here, you've got outsider and insider threats, which can take the form of humans and automated scripts, both of which can be either malicious or simply careless and compromised. But ultimately, these people are trying to get access to data that's got value, either directly from databases or indirectly through compromised business logic. And in the midst of all of this, Our customers are going through, or likely going through, an IT transformation where they're moving a lot of workloads over to the cloud. So our customers have told us for a long time that they really need a security partner that can support and scale with them, especially as they go on their cloud and digital transformation journeys. They've told us that they need flexibility to be able to cover traditional on-premise and also now new cloud workloads. I haven't met a single customer in the last 18 months who truly knows how long it's going to take them to get through their cloud and digital transformations. And they've all told us that they want that ability to be able to pivot based on business needs, not necessarily what technology and what cloud services dictate. We see they also want to reduce this increasingly heavy burden of costs of non-compliance that are associated with ever-growing industry and government legislation. And at the same time, rapid time to value is a must. Customers and businesses need to innovate to grow their business. They need to delight their customers. They want to deliver shareholder and employee value. And coupled with that is the need to integrate security into DevOps workflows, for example, so they can deploy new applications and new versions to existing applications much faster with much greater confidence that they're going to be secure. And then if we think about protecting data and all the paths to it, our focus at Imperva for probably the last 18 years has always been to protect our customers' data and all the ways to get access to it. And when I say, all those paths, I really mean all the ways you can access data via a network, via applications, via APIs, direct access, privileged access, and obviously much more. And as you'll see a little later on, after listening very carefully and collaborating with our customers, we've now built a platform-focused approach to how we protect this information from the edge all the way to where that data happens to be stored. I'd like to share a couple of statistics, only 2 statistics in the presentation, you'll be pleased to know. The first one is to give you a scale of the kind of volume and the size of attacks that our customers see every day, every week, every month. In just April this year, we stopped more than 18 billion attacks against our customers. And that was for our cloud WAF alone. We inspected probably more than 1.1 trillion requests. And these numbers show a rise in attacks, especially with bot-driven attacks, as hackers really take advantage of the worldwide COVID-19 pandemic, with so many workers now being at home, and with the rise in online shopping, for example, and just general increase in web activity. And these numbers come from what we call our cyber threat index. If anybody's interested, you can find that on imperva.com. But the cyber threat index, and this was created by our Imperva research lab. And we calculate this index based on data that we gather from all of Imperva's sensors across the world. And that includes over 25 monthly petabytes of network traffic that goes through our CDN, about 30 billion monthly web application attacks. And that's across about 1 trillion HTTP requests that are analyzed by our web application firewall service. And this index really is like a high-level monthly report and a measurement of what the cyber threat landscape looks like across data and apps. And it just gives an easy to understand score of what we see consistently over time. And we look at the trends as well. And that data is also broken down by industry and by country to give you, further analytics and insights. It is proprietary to Imperva, but we have made it available free. So please have a look on imperva.com if you'd like some more information there. The second statistic is how we save our customers time. And across our customers, we've saved around 4 million work hours by helping them with our actionable insights that they get from our attack analytics and data risk analytics capability. When we think about the new normal, when it comes to work, being able to save time and be more efficient with security alerts isn't just a nice to have, it really is paramount. And these analytics and insights, which I'll talk a little bit more about in a second, just allows security professionals to be able to focus on the things that really matter, the high risk alerts by priority, instead of simply just wading through millions of alerts and only analyzing on average around 1% of the alerts that a SOC team, for example, would receive. So as I said, those are the only two key statistics that I'll go through. So our response, to how we're trying to help in collaboration with our customers is we have built together with them the world's first and only world-class multi-cloud platform that now protects the edge, applications, and data from attack. And when I use the phrase multi-cloud, I refer to on-premise, private cloud, as well as, cloud service infrastructures run by the likes of Google, Amazon, and Microsoft. And one thing we certainly see as more of our customers embrace cloud, some are absolutely adopting an approach and a strategy where they're spreading the workload across at least more than one of those providers. Our latest data shows us that about 50% of companies actually intend to use more cloud vendor, more than one cloud vendor as they embark on the transformation. So for Imperva, that translates into building solutions that can just run anywhere and integrate with as many ecosystem security, cybersecurity technologies as possible. And our customers demand that from us. They want tight integrations into their security ecosystems. And that includes even working with technologies that in the past we may have even considered competitive, rather than perhaps complementary. So let's take a little look at the actual platform itself that we've built. Here we go. So we think of our platform really across three major pillars. There's the edge, and then there's application, and then there's data. On the edge side, edge security for us includes DDoS protection, CDN, and these are really our solutions that protect the outside world from doing harm to our customers, to their organizations. Those application security capabilities include web application firewall, runtime application self-protection, advanced bot protection, which, as I said earlier, we're seeing an awful lot more of advancement in and more attacks, and then attack analytics for insights. And these are the products really that protect the most critical workloads that exist. And then on the right-hand side, we have data security, which includes database activity monitoring, cloud data security, which is another world first and unique for Imperva, and then data discovery and assessment, which is really where we help customers find and secure critical data, and then the data risk analytics. And those products are the ones that our customers use to protect their most valuable information, right? That we already know is more valuable than oil. And when we overlay our platform on the data flow risk model we looked at earlier, you can see that we have a unique ability to be able to monitor for and protect against all manner of bad behavior across the entire environment. So we can stop bad traffic coming into the network and applications, so kind of outside in, if you will. We protect the applications and their dependencies, which is more inside out. And we also protect the data, and it's not just the data, but how that information itself is being accessed. And as I said earlier, we've tried to make that, those products portable and flexible enough to be able to run on premise and in the cloud. Now, we went a little further with that in terms of our customers speaking to us about the fact that they need the flexibility to be able to migrate to cloud under their digital transformations at a pace and a speed that suits their business. We then built out a commercial capability with a single license cost for regardless of where the data or the application resides. So thousands of our customers now enjoy being able to migrate across on-premise and cloud environments without essentially having to pay twice or having to worry about the costs of license management, etc., as they undertake their cloud initiatives. So I'll briefly move on now to highlight kind of three different areas of how the components of this platform actually work together. The first one is really, you could probably sum it up as our application security defense in depth. And in this case, what we're looking for is to make sure that web application firewall and runtime application self-protection can work together for the first time to protect traffic that comes into applications and the application behavior itself. And what this also does is it, for the first time again, brings together AppSec teams and DevOps teams to be able to collaborate so that they can enable much quicker application deployment in a secure but very compliant way. And then when you connect the WAF and the RASP event data and telemetry with attack analytics on the right, you can not only see better insights into what's going on, but you have a very unique way to now orchestrate and push new policies and rules that are based on real world events. For example, if RASP sees and stops an attack, you'll get that insight as an alert, and then you have the ability to quickly build a policy that will block that specific traffic right at the edge. And our customers have told us very frequently that this kind of approach is really helping them to save some time and resource, and most importantly, it helps them to be a lot more proactive when they think about application security. The second element is really around what we call actionable insights. I've mentioned it a few times already, but it's important to note that actionable insights aren't just simply alerts, that they're not adding more noise to security teams that are already alert fatigued and have very high workloads. These are real policy-based and machine learning and AI-based insights that look at real high-risk incidents that we know will require investigation. And those security teams are presented with what we call attack narratives, that they can act on very quickly with confidence. And this specific example is from a real world customer. It is a large financial services customer. Unfortunately, for confidentiality, I can't name them, but they're a very well-known financial services brand. And they ended up, after implementing Imperva, reducing the amount of SIM noise substantially in their environment. They saved around about 144 work hours every day. They went from investigating 10% of the alerts that they saw to 100% of the incidents based on those actionable insights. And they discovered 6 very real, significant potential issues once they had undertaken their initial deployment. So the customer response to that, from an actionable insights perspective, has been that we help them reduce the amount of noise they have to sift through. We save them very tangible work hours that allows their security teams to focus on innovation, focus on more business as usual type activities, and allow the companies themselves to focus and address real risk rather than trying to look for that needle in a haystack. And then thirdly, and this is an area that is entirely unique to Imperva. The third area, our customers, when they invest in our entire platform, they receive a capability that we call user to data tracking. And what it does is it really weaves together all of our solutions to help, to understand how to track a user traversing the network through applications and who is accessing data. And in the diagram, we show how WAF, RASP, DAM, and the insights all work together. So we can help customers very quickly answer key questions like who's accessed the data? What was that data sensitive that was accessed? How many records were accessed? And then where did it all go? And that kind of capability is really only possible when you have a single platform where everything is automated and integrated together. And from a development perspective, from a product roadmap, you can expect to see a lot more of these capabilities as we integrate some of our other emerging technologies across the 3 pillars that I talked about earlier. So it's very easy, and I'm sure lots of people on this, who are here today, have heard of vendors saying that they are market leading, and every vendor will say that. But how do we prove that? Well, we are very proud that every leading analyst in the cybersecurity space has agreed and validated pretty much that we are a leader across all of our portfolio offerings in how we help our customers to solve their data and application issues. For web application firewall, for example, we're the only vendor that has been for 6 years in a row in the top right-hand quadrant of the Gartner Magic Quadrant for WAF. For our runtime application self-protection solution, we're the only market leader in that space. For DDoS, we are a 4 times leader in the Forrester Wave. And then for bot protection, we've been a leader for the last 2 years And we're very proud of that. From a data security perspective, there isn't really a wave or an MQ, but for many years, we've been considered a leader in Gartner's DCAP report, for example, data-centric audit protection. And we were just one of 4 vendors who they believe covered all the required capabilities for a true data-centric audit protection security solution. So we believe we're recognized as best of breed, but also I think when you put the pieces together, we're truly becoming best of platform. And I'm always asked, it's probably the 4th question I'm asked in most meetings I have with our prospective customers is, who do you compete with? And I think now, if I look at our platform, the answer is very simple. It's no one. And there is no other single vendor that has this platform capability or the pedigree across data and application security and analytics. But to show that a little further, let's just take a look at that in a little more detail. So we built this out really just to show how, as a single platform provider now, how we compare to the sort of main vendors that offer point-based solutions. And as you can see, as I said, there is no other vendor that can cover the breadth and depth that we have. But the key point here really is that, our customers tell us that when they implement across all of those capabilities, they have huge cost efficiencies through reducing the number of vendors they have in their portfolios. We have a major banking client in Europe who has over 124 individual security vendors in their ecosystem. And their CISO would love to be able to reduce that down to a number of manageable technologies in that portfolio. So being able to reduce the number of vendors in the portfolio has been a benefit for them. They see a lot of ease of integration and automation within data and application security when they invest with a single provider. And last but not least, they all enjoy the fact that there is a single commercial and licensing capability with what we call our Flex Protect licensing, which makes it very easy for them to add new components as they start to invest in different capabilities when they think about application and data security. So one other key area is our customers are very demanding that we integrate within their ecosystem. So we spend a lot of time building out a number of partnerships and alliances and integrations to try and help facilitate that. As I said earlier, every CISO I meet is very, very clear that they believe that all of us in the security industry, all vendors, should spend more time focusing on how we integrate better together to help them as customers and end users, rather than focusing on our own technology and existing in a vacuum. So our products, they integrate with NoSQL, big data stores developed by people like Mongo and Cloudera. We integrate with the biggest SIEM players like Splunk and Elastic, DevOps technologies like Terraform, SOAR platforms like Demisto, for example, and Phantom, and many, many more. And if anybody would like to see the complete list, that again is available on Imperva.com. We're also very proud to partner with, as customers, some of the world's leading brands. You'll see here 33 of the top 50 banks in the world, 8 of the top 10 telecom providers. Some of those we're very proud to have, in places like Russia, Poland, for example, 7 of the top 10 global financial services firms. And we really try and focus on helping them deliver against the positive business outcomes that they need to grow their businesses. And we try and make sure that we enable the required capabilities that they need to secure their applications and data and allow them to focus on what they do best, innovation, delighting their customers and delivering that customer and shareholder value. And the core values we deliver, the 3 areas where Imperva believes it adds value over anything else, is that we, as I've said earlier, we help enable those business transformations, help our customers to mitigate security risk, and then help them reduce the costs of non-compliance. And that really is, what I had to really talk to you about this morning. I'd like to thank everyone for attending. Thank you again to SoftProm for organizing such an innovative and thought-provoking event. I'm sure you'll have a great, rest of the 2 days. If you have any questions, please visit the team at our virtual booth. I went there yesterday when I was doing some preparation and had a look around our own stand virtually, which was a brand new experience for me. But our team are all available over the next 2 days to answer any questions that you have. And with that, thank you very, very much for your time.